What if I told you there's one layout pattern that's been haunting web developers for over 20 years, and you're probably still building it the hard way? By the end of this video, you'll master not one, but two modern solutions to the legendary Holy Grail layout. But here's the catch. One of these methods will save you hours of frustration, and I'm going to show you exactly which one. Welcome to the ultimate CSS showdown, Grid versus Flexbox. I'm going to teach you how to build the Holy Grail layout, the gold standard of web layouts, using both CSS Grid and Flexbox. But before we dive in, I need to tell you something important. If you've ever struggled with CSS layouts, felt overwhelmed by positioning, or spent hours Googling how to center a div, this video is for you. And stick around because I'm going to reveal which method is actually better for the Holy Grail layout, and it might surprise you. Alright, let's start with the basics. What is the Holy Grail layout, and why should you care? The Holy Grail is a classic web layout pattern with 5 key sections: a full-width header at the top, a full-width footer at the bottom, 2 sidebars left and right, and a main content area in the center. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. Back in the day, this was a nightmare to build. Developers tried everything. Floats, they broke the layout. Tables, not semantic and inflexible. Absolute positioning, destroyed the document flow. The main problem, equal height columns were nearly impossible. Responsive design was a pipe dream, and the code was so fragile that one small change could break everything. But then, CSS Grid and Flexbox changed everything. Now, before I show you the solutions, you need to understand something crucial about when to use each method. I'll reveal the exact decision framework in just a few minutes, but first, let me show you how Flexbox solves this problem. Let's start with Flexbox. Now, Flexbox is a one-dimensional layout system, which means it's designed to arrange items in a single direction, either in a row or a column. So how do we create a two-dimensional layout like the Holy Grail? The answer, nesting. Watch this carefully because the structure here is key to making this work. We need 2 flex containers. One, the main container with flex direction column for vertical stacking, and a body wrapper with default row direction for our 3-column layout. Notice we have that extra wrapper div, the body container. This is crucial for Flexbox, but remember this detail because when we get to Grid, you're going to see something very different. Now here's where the magic happens. Let me break down this CSS. The outer container uses flex direction column. This stacks our header, body, and footer vertically. The body container uses flex equals 1, which tells it to grow and fill all available space. This is what makes our layout fill the entire viewport. For our sidebars, we use flex 00200px. Let me decode this for you. First 0, don't grow. Second 0, don't shrink. 200px, fixed width. And our main content, just flex equals 1. It takes all the remaining space. Let me show you this in action with a real dashboard layout. Watch what happens. See how these cards automatically rearrange? How they maintain equal heights? This is Flexbox's superpower, content-aware layout. The cards wrap based on available space, and they all stay the same height automatically. This is perfect for components where the content determines the layout. Speaking of perfecting your CSS skills, if you're finding this helpful, I've created a free CSS cheat sheet that covers Flexbox, Grid, and all the essential properties you need. It saved me countless times, and it'll save you too. I'll drop the link in the description and in the pinned comment. Download it now so you have it when you need it. Trust me, you will. Alright, now let's see how CSS Grid tackles this same challenge. Here's where things get interesting. CSS Grid is a 2-dimensional layout system. Unlike Flexbox, it can control both rows and columns simultaneously. And here's the first major difference you need to see. Look at this HTML structure. Notice anything different? There's no wrapper div. Every section is a direct child of the main container. Already simpler, right? But wait until you see the CSS. This is where Grid truly shines. This is the power of Grid template areas. Header, header, header. Sidebar left, main, sidebar right. Footer, footer, footer. Do you see what's happening here? The CSS literally draws the layout. It's a visual representation of your design right in your code. We define 3 rows, auto for the header, 1 FR for the content, auto for the footer. We define 3 columns, 200px, 1 FR, 200px. Then we just assign each element to its area. That's it. Now let me show you something you cannot easily do with Flexbox. Watch this project management dashboard. Notice how the widgets span different numbers of rows and columns, how the side panel stretches across 2 row areas. This is Grid's superpower, precise 2-dimensional control. Grid makes this trivial with grid area assignments. Try doing this with Flexbox. You'd need a nightmare of nested containers. So Flexbox gives us content-aware flexibility. Grid gives us precise 2-dimensional control. But which one should you use for the Holy Grail layout? The answer is coming. But first, you need to understand the real differences, because choosing wrong can cost you hours of debugging. Alright, let's settle this. Flexbox versus Grid for the Holy Grail layout. Flexbox pros. Better for dynamic content that needs to flow naturally. More intuitive if you're already comfortable with Flexbox. Great for components within the layout. Flexbox cons. Requires nested containers, more HTML. Complex responsive design, more CSS to maintain. Grid pros. Simpler, flatter HTML structure. Grid template areas makes layouts visual and maintainable. Responsive design is easier, just redefine the grid. Grid cons. Steeper learning curve initially, but can be overkill for simple components. So here's the truth bomb. For the Holy Grail layout specifically, Grid wins, hands down. But, and this is crucial, Flexbox isn't the loser here, because the real secret that professional developers know, you use them together. Grid for the page structure, Flexbox for the components inside each section. This is how modern web development actually works. Now, if you're thinking, I want to master both of these layout systems completely, I've got something special for you. I've created the CSS Grid and Flexbox Mastery Guide, a comprehensive ebook that takes you from confused beginner to confident CSS developer. Inside, you'll get real-world layout examples, complete property references, responsive design patterns, common pitfalls and how to avoid them, and practice code examples you can use when learning. The link is in the description. Let's level up your CSS game together. Now, let me show you how to make this responsive. Here's where Grid becomes absolutely magical. Watch how we make this work on every device. Mobile first, single column, everything stacks. Tablet, 2 columns, left sidebar and main content side by side. Right sidebar drops below. Desktop, full Holy Grail, all 3 columns. And look at this. We just redefine the grid template areas at each breakpoint. Same HTML, completely different layouts. This is why Grid won. This is the power we've been waiting for. Alright, let me share some pro tips that took me years to learn. Tip number 1. Use CSS variables for your spacing and breakpoints. This makes your entire layout adjustable from one place. Tip number 2. Grid for structure, Flexbox for components. Use Grid to define your page areas, then use Flexbox inside those areas for component layout. Tip number 3. Always test on real devices. The browser inspector is good, but real devices show you the truth. Mistake to avoid. Don't use Grid for everything. If you just need to center a div or align items in a row, Flexbox is simpler. Mistake to avoid. Don't use Flexbox for complex 2-dimensional layouts. You'll end up with nested container hell. Let me show you real-world examples that'll cement this knowledge. An editorial blog layout. This is perfect for Grid. Watch, we have a header spanning all 3 columns, 2 sidebars, and a content area. But here's the cool part. Inside the content area, we can have full-width images that break out of the content column. We just use Grid column 1/-1 and it spans the full width. Try doing that with Flexbox. You'd need to break out of your containers. Not fun. Look, I want to be real with you for a second. I remember being a beginner. I remember the frustration of not understanding CSS. So here's what I've done. I've compiled all my complete source code from every tutorial, every project, every layout I've built, and I'm making it available on a pay-what-you-want basis. Could be $2, could be $5, $10, $20. You decide what feels right for you. So grab the source code, pay what feels right, use it, learn from it, build with it. The link is in the description. We've covered a lot today. Let me recap the key takeaways. The Holy Grail layout. Once impossible, now simple. Flexbox. Perfect for one-dimensional, content-aware layouts. Grid. Ideal for two-dimensional, precise layouts. The pro secret? Use both together. Grid wins for the Holy Grail specifically, and responsive design is easier with Grid's template areas. Your next steps? Download the free CSS cheat sheet, link in description. Try the practice exercises. If you want to go deeper, check out the Grid and Flexbox Mastery Guide. Grab the source code, pay what you want. You now have the knowledge that took professional developers years to master. This is the same approach used by companies like Google, Netflix, and Airbnb. Thank you so much for watching. Seriously, if this video helped you, click that like button. It helps other developers find this content. Subscribe if you want more CSS tutorials, JavaScript deep dives, and web development guides. Drop a comment and tell me, are you Team Flexbox or Team Grid? Or are you Team both like me? And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to build a complete responsive website using these exact techniques. You won't want to miss it. Until then, keep coding, keep learning, and remember, you've got this. See you in the next one.